Hey guys, welcome back to the Skyblock series. We are finally back after the jam of 10 days, and yeah, it's been a long time since I haven't worked on this project, so slightly rusty, but we can work with that. In this episode, we will finally do something which is kind of interesting, sort of. We will see how we can destroy blocks that we have created. So you will see that there is some content which is part of the series, but you may not have seen because it is part of the member episodes. Member episodes are just what I consider non-mandatory episodes. They are things you may need, but they are not super necessary for making the game. Right there, we focus more on the mechanics, how to code the things, and really those two blocks, for example, they are actually quite simple, and you may figure those out by yourself. So for what matters in today's episode, we do want to be able to destroy blocks by left-clicking on them. And the good part is that we already have created something within that game, which is going to be very useful, the Raycast targeting. So we're just gonna grab this Raycast and we're gonna add a new option to it. Just to find this Raycast again, we have to go in the world and play a scene. And here we do have the Raycast script. We already have this script which is checking if we are colliding with something. And more specifically, we want to check if we are colliding with a block. So when this happens, here we actually want to see what is the player doing. Is the player just idling around, or is the player left clicking or right clicking, right? That's exactly what we want to check. So we're gonna go with this check of the inputs. And on this input, we want to see if we have a mouse button pressed. And we're gonna choose the left one. We're going to check that, and we're going to do something in that situation. So what we want to do when we left click, typically you want basically to damage the block until it breaks. Okay, that's the best case scenario. But here, in order to keep things simple, first, we will just start by deleting the block when we left click on it. Just like we have created methods like hook release, or maybe I don't remember actually if we did that, but we're just going to create a request for the block to tell that block, please destroy yourself. So we have to go to the block actually. So here, yeah, we already have the block scene, and we have to go in there and just get to the script. Okay, we get to the script and we will create a new request. So the new request is going to be interact, and that's going to be left click. Okay, we won't need an argument, and we'll do something in there. And actually, we can just say right away that we want to use the queue-free method. So Godot has a little bit to say about that, which is it queues the node to be deleted at the end of the current frame. Okay, so when it is deleted, all of its children are deleted as well, and all references to the node on its children become invalid. And that is quite important, because what happens here is that the references become invalid. And we do have, well, the WAILA may have this reference in its memory, sort of. So we actually want the block to kind of remove that. So here, this is the WAILA script. We do have the release target script, okay? And yes, we have this target block. So what we want to do is that when the block is exiting the scene tree, before it gets away, we want to make sure that the WAILA is releasing that. So just in case, we will set the target to null when we release so that we remove the reference eventually of whatever is being released. And then we will go back to our block script, okay, and we will create an exit tree method. So this is what we want to do when we exit the tree. So when we exit the tree, we want to do something which is WAILA.ref.release target. We actually can make a check to see if the WAILA.ref.getTarget is equal to self. We can check that. And if it is, then we want to release target. So this way, when we are destroying the block, it will see if the WAILA still has a reference of itself. And if it does, then it will prompt it to release before it leaves. We do have this interact left click available. So now we can go back to the Raycast and we can ask the collider as a block, and we will just set that in parentheses. We will ask here to interact left click with it. Now, in the game, when we left click, we kind of destroyed blocks very quickly because they have no resistance. They just get deleted when you click on them. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Just in order to make those blocks a little bit easier to destroy, let's go back to our script and more specifically to our input map. Here, we will create a left click interaction. Mouse button, left mouse button, okay, we'll create that. The reason why we do that is because we want to be able to use is action just pressed and then left click. This action is going to behave slightly differently because it will sort of ignore the long press. Okay, so it only triggers once at the moment we press because it is just pressed. Okay, so this is how we make the block destruction easier for now, because later on we will want to use the long press to have the kind of damage going on. And we're not going to do damage right now because what I want to do first is how to create blocks. And creating blocks is going to be a little bit long, I think. So yeah, let's not do too much right now. Let's kind of juggle between the two so that it's interesting still. I do hope you like this episode. I'm sorry that this series has been paused a little bit. That was the 10 days game jam in the middle of it. If you did like it, think about liking, subscribing, whatever. And we do as well have a coffee link if you want to buy me a coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. But yeah, that's up to you. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode where we will be creating blocks.